Hello, everyone. I'm Kevin Gostola, managing editor for Shadowproof. Here's an end of week update. We're going to start putting these out really short, 5 to 10 minute updates at the end of our weeks, running down what we did in the past week, allowing you to catch up with us. And so to start off with, we published a report from Michael Sionato on workers facing retaliation, including layoffs for organizing unions during the COVID-19 pandemic. I highly encourage you to read that report. If you're a member or a donor, your support funds this kind of critical reporting. And Michael Sionato does incredible labor journalism. His work has been featured at The Guardian regularly, and you can find him on Twitter. And he is really important, has done tremendous work covering the impact of the pandemic so far on people who are labor organizers, but also on the working class, whether we're talking about Amazon or corporations like McDonald's, and people who are in academic institutions or work at museums. This article that he wrote for us covers a range of places where you're seeing retaliation for people who are engaged in union organizing during the downturn in the economy. You may have heard in the past week here, we celebrated our 5th birthday, and we couldn't get this far without people like you who share and care about the work that we do at Shadowproof. So Brian Sonestein and myself, thank you for your continued support. We wrote about our 5 years and also looked back on the past year. We put together a reflection, something we do annually. And we also looked ahead to what's going to be unfolding politically in this country, especially when we think of electoral politics. And we wrote about what that means for us as an organization. We can promise you that regardless of whether Joe Biden is the president in the White House in 2021, or if Donald Trump somehow survives and gets a second term, that we're going to continue to do the same kind of journalism that you've been seeing from us over the past 4 years under Donald Trump, and the same kind of journalism that held President Barack Obama accountable for his role in expanding the imperial presidency when he was in office, the way that he went to war against the left, where he was against the working class and expanding corporate interests. We could probably expect that from a Biden White House, and we're going to be right there with grassroots organizers, and we're going to be supporting freelance journalists who have contributed to us and raising funds and making sure we can do the kinds of reporting like we've just been doing this round of reporting on the issue of abolishing prisons and what it looks like to move away from prisons and rely less on police to solve our problems. And rather than saying that can't be done, we've been highlighting these organizations that are actually doing this critical work in communities around the country, showing that there can be results and that they can make gains among people in their neighborhoods. And so I encourage you to go to Shadowproof and look for that series of reporting. At the Dissenter newsletter, which I curate, we had a couple stories from this past week looking at dissent channels at federal government agencies and how those don't work. We also, the exclusive story for people to receive was about a prison whistleblower in New Mexico at a county facility who challenged violence. Two of the correctional officers were involved in killing a man, actually was put in a chokehold, and the staff member, she objected after watching the surveillance footage and ended up being fired. There's more details about her case in this exclusive piece that was written, which you can access by going to dissenter.substack.com/subscribe. And for right now, while we're celebrating this 5th year birthday of Shadowproof, you can get access to it for free. There's a 30-day free trial, as what I'm saying. And so you can go there and see this is a roundup of whistleblower stories that we're doing every week on our show, the Dissenter Weekly at YouTube. That goes out to people who are subscribers of the newsletter. And that brings me to the special announcement that I have for you. There is a panel that I will be moderating that is organized by the Courage Foundation tomorrow. It's called What Would Julian Assange Face in the US? And I'm going to be joined by some very esteemed people. Barry Pollock, who is an attorney in the US who's part of Assange's legal team. And then there's going to be Jeffrey Sterling, who is a CIA whistleblower who was prosecuted under the Espionage Act and served time in prison. And then there's Lori Love, who's an activist who was facing extradition but beat that extradition request from the United States and beat it in the United Kingdom. And all three of these panelists have backgrounds that can give us insight into what lies ahead for Assange if he is successfully brought to the United States. We'll be looking at what pre-trial and during trial and after trial would look like, how he would be treated in U.S. prisons, and examining all aspects. And if you tune in, and you can go register for this webinar by going to the Courage Foundation's Facebook or their Twitter page, Courage Foundation's Twitter or Facebook page, and you should be able to find a link to register for that event. Sorry, there's not a tidy link that I can give you to go sign up, but it's going to stream on their pages, and then we'll be sharing it through our Facebook and our Twitter pages. And if you would like to submit questions, we'll be collecting questions that can be put to these panelists. This is going to be an hour to an hour and a half conversation about all of the issues surrounding the Assange case and what might happen if he's brought to the United States. So that does it for this update. I wanted to make sure that we start engaging you more. So this is very brief. In the future, if you have any questions about Shadowproof or any comments about the work that we're doing at Shadowproof, this will be an opportunity to talk shop with us and engage with the kind of journalism that we're doing. There may here and there be some issues that we raise on these short broadcasts. But until next time and until next week, thank you for being supporters and readers of Shadowproof, and we'll see you again real soon.